People in the Midwest are so weird. I was just my friends came to my friend. Some people I know from school are here from Missouri at like an Angels game, and like they're like we're at the Angels game, and three people from Missouri like seriously tweeted like, "Be careful, don't get mugged." Like
I would
that's
say the
what they
same
think is
thing.
gonna happen when they go to. Just the fact that they're in Southern California now, they are in danger.
No, but those baseball games get pretty rowdy.
Yeah, I guess, but it just seemed to me more like, oh, Southern California, you're in trouble. Scary.
Well, they have a landline here, and it didn't throw me the answering machine.
I haven't seen one in a long time. My mom doesn't even have an answering machine anymore.
You'd walk in here and you're like, "Whoa, we got a butter churner too."
I mean, my mom has a landline, but at least she has like voicemail.
All right, you ready?
Do they even sell like tapes?
It's like
Oh, it's like a
I don't
digital.
yeah, I don't know.
I think they're all digital now. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right, all right. Let's get going here because I
let me
gotta go
make.
to school.
What time do you have to leave?
Oh, whenever. It's not
Okay.
like a set schedule. I just have to do 4 hours. My last day, I have to do 4 hours, and then I'm
Oh,
taking my
okay.
test on Monday.
Then the kegger afterwards.
Either that or I don't pass my test, and then I'm just like a fucking failure at everything.
All right. Aiming towards like 90 minutes.
That's fine with me.
Cool.
All right.
He is ready to go here. Let's count it
Yes.
off. All right. One, two, three. Record.
Okay.
Okay. Recording.
Live from the internet, it's Popsicles.
Number 81.
We're 81. We're on that
What,
trail.
what were the big movies in 1981?
I was 1 year old, so I have no idea.
You
Was
have
was
no idea what
Empire
was big in 1981?
was Empire 81 or was that
That was
80?
80. So
Okay.
we've got Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah. Wow,
Um,
81. Hmm.
mhm. And that was it. That was the only movie released that year. Okay, let's start our show with our customary Brendo sings the hits. Now don't give any hints here when you see what it
Okay.
is, Brendo.
Okay.
All right,
Okay. I will.
I'm gonna text it to you, and you just start interpreting it whatever which way you want, and Benson will try to guess what it is.
I believe in you, Benson.
Thank you.
Was that it? That sound of
Yeah.
you receiving? All right, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again. Damn, who knew? All the planes we flew, good things we've been through, that I'll be standing right there talking to you about another path. I know we'd love to hit the road and laugh, but something told me that it wouldn't last. Had to switch up, look at things different, see the bigger picture. Those were the days, hard work forever pays. Now I see you in a better place. It's been a long day without you, my friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. We've come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. When I see you again.
Benson?
I know this one.
It sounds familiar. I
Uh-huh.
do believe I've heard this,
Oh.
but
You should have. I think you've heard this, hopefully.
I couldn't tell you the title or the artist.
Oh,
It
Do you know
does
where you
sound.
heard it?
I was it in Furious 7?
Close. You're close. Come on. Let's hammer this one home. Let's let's let's
it
let's
wasn't
uh
Furious 7.
let's hit this let's make a home run for the kid in the hospital.
You're close. It was in Furious 7.
That's as far as I'm gonna get.
Oh,
Wow. I thought
Sorry.
he was gonna get this one. It was
I
See
thought
You
he would
Again.
too.
He didn't even attempt the title.
It's from the last scene. and it's Ludacris,
That
and
that makes sense.
It is not ludicrous. That is very
Ludacris is in
racist
it.
of you.
No, Ludacris is in it. I swear to God.
Is he?
Okay, don't call me racist, you motherfucker.
It's Wiz Khalifa
And
featuring.
Ludacris.
What's Ludacris's real name? It says featuring Charlie Puth.
Chris Bridges is his real name.
He was featured in it. I swear. I read the credits.
Well, I'll take your word on that. But I thought Benson was going to take that one. It was from a movie, and I thought we were going to have a nice
Yeah, it
little
says "See You
string.
Again, Ludacris."
Where? I don't. In all honesty, all joking aside, I don't know if that's. I don't know.
Oh, wait, that's a different song. It's called "See You Again."
Oh,
What?
maybe that's where the confusion lied.
But Ludacris was on one of the songs because I saw his name on it. I'm
Um,
confused now. I'm very confused. But I'm mad. I'm mad that you called me a racist.
well, I was obviously a joke.
It's not something to joke about.
It is. Everything is jokeable.
Well, now I don't know. Maybe I am a racist.
No, I was joking.
He was on one of the songs. Because I stayed. I watched that movie. I've already seen that movie 3 times, and I stayed through the credits.
People were waiting for us to fight again, and that one was like a nice little flyby, a little quick hit, a little quick hit of anger. That's pretty funny. Um,
Now I
speaking
gotta
of
find out what this song is.
speaking of that song, you know that song "Uptown Funk," Brendo?
Yes.
Benson, have you heard of this song?
I've heard of it. I don't know that I've actually heard it.
That's so crazy because it was 2 weeks away from becoming the longest #1 hit weeks wise, Brendo.
Yeah.
And this song it knocked it off the #1.
Oh, this one?
hmm So
Well,
Paul Walker
'cause
dying
Paul Walker dying.
stopped Bruno Mars from having the longest #1 single.
I think he'll get over it.
Will he? What do you think if you were a pop star and would you like invest yourself in these records?
Oh, he was on a song that Tyrese did to tribute Paul Walker, but not that song.
For the record, I don't think you're racist. You don't have to prove.
Sorry.
That's fine.
It's Tyrese featuring Ludacris.
For the
That's
first
what
time,
it
I
is.
felt safe. I felt safe at a distance, and you're like, "You motherfucker!" Oh, I felt safe. So yeah, other #1 hits. What do you think are other ones that have held the longest #1 for like a lot of weeks?
Wasn't there like a Katy Perry song that was #1 for like a year?
No, this is singles.
Well, okay, I don't
So
know.
I
That
think
Candle in the Wind song.
that's one of them.
Um,
Thriller, maybe?
No, I got the list here.
what's your list? What's this again? The longest #1 singles?
Yeah, the one that's held the #1 for the most weeks.
Um, trying to think. Macarena?
That's one of them.
Really?
Yep. I was
Wow.
looking up the Macarena recently, and they held a lot of
Was it
records.
that version? Because there was multiple versions of Macarena. Was it like the one that had the girl like rapping in it or singing in it?
Yeah, yeah, the American version, yeah.
Um, trying to think what else was like a huge deal.
First, they like in 2013, Billboard did a top 10 songs of all time,
Hmm.
and I don't know what they're basing it on because the #1 thing that they chose was #1 for only 3 weeks.
Hmm.
Might have been sales, like single sales.
I don't know. The top 10 of all time. I don't know if I want to read this because it doesn't seem to be based on anything, but it says that The Twist is the #1 song of all time.
The Twist?
Yeah, Chubby Checker.
Huh.
Well, I guess like it sold a lot. I mean, I'm guessing since it's Billboard, they're going off of sales.
Do you know what the so okay, so you guessed
But
the
nobody buys
monitoring.
singles anymore. I mean, I guess
You
iTunes.
know, iTunes.
That's singles now, I guess.
At 10 weeks at number one, we've got songs like "Irreplaceable" from Beyonce, "Low" featuring Flo Rida and Ludacris.
See, I don't
Just
know
kidding,
any
it
of
was
these
T-Pain.
songs.
You don't know "Low"? It was on the "Step Up to the Streets" soundtrack.
No.
No?
No.
Let's see what else we got here. 11 weeks we got "All for Ones, I Swear."
I remember that song.
We've got
But that's like a cover of a was it Kenny Rogers?
oh really?
Yeah.
At 12 weeks we've got such hits as Santana's and Rob Thomas's "Smooth."
That song was all over the place.
I just read
Like
a
it's
BuzzFeed
weird that
list,
it was that one because the Everlast song was way better.
which
I'd
was
even
what?
take um the Michelle Branch one because he did like a few duets, like a few that album, which was a very big album.
I was reading a BuzzFeed list about the music of the summer of 2000,
Yep,
and
it was a weird summer, man.
what was the name of his Matchbox 20's "Bent" was
Yeah,
on it. That's a very silly song, and it was on in the supermarket when I was there yesterday. He has such a weird singing style. It's weird that Saturday Night Live didn't have somebody be Rob Thomas in a bunch of sketches. Please help me, I'm Bill. It's like a Trey Parker song.
yeah. They're very popular though. It was very like I remember I liked a couple of their songs.
Okay, so at 13 weeks we've got There's a lot of Boys to Men on here.
Boys to Men, very popular.
Okay, for the number two at 14 weeks is tied with a bunch of songs, stuff like Uptown Funk
Uh-huh.
was only 14 weeks, Black Eyed Peas, I Got a Feeling.
Yeah.
Mariah Carey's on here a lot too. We Belong Together, Elton John's Candle in the Wind, Los Del Rio's Macarena. This is all 14 weeks. Boys to Men, I'll Make Love to You. Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You. And the number one song at 16 weeks. You want to take a guess?
Don't Worry, Be Happy.
Jesus Christ, not even on
Kokomo.
the list.
I'm
Not
trying
on
to
the
think of
list.
like big singles that were like really popular.
I'll
Is
give
it
you
a
the year,
modern? Like is it
95, 96.
was it Coolio?
No, not on the
I'm just
list.
trying to think of big things. Stop laughing at me. I'm all right. It's too early for you guys to be laughing at me. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, no problem.
Hey, Gangster's Paradise. I know you guys were like 8 when that was out, but that was fucking huge.
It was in high school high.
Which was making fun of Dangerous Minds, which was a big deal.
And Weird Al parodied it.
Yep. Got in some trouble.
He made the cover of that album.
But I don't know what's the number one. I
The
don't
number
know.
one is Mariah Carey and Boyz II Men's "One Sweet Day," which I think is like a big
I don't
funeral
even
song.
remember that song.
It's like one sweet day,
No.
I'll remember you from heaven, and I know you'll think about me when you can. These are improvised lyrics. Just trying to give you the tune.
I don't.
One
I
sweet
don't.
day. Were you a big R&B guy?
I was, but by that point, no. Like I stopped. But I listened to a lot of that stuff like in the early '90s, like
Mm.
Cooley High Harmony. I had that album. Um, but by that point, I had gone on to like grunge and rock and well, I think by then '95, I was in my confused like like Christian music phase where like my mom threw away all my music.
Creed was a big part of the summer of 2000 as well.
Oh well, yeah, they were huge by then. That was their summer. That was because they were on like I remember the Scream 3 soundtrack. They were featured very prominently.
Really? Creed?
Was it Scream
Guess
3 or
that makes
Scream
sense.
2? No, it's
That
Scream
would be
3.
Scream 3.
Yeah.
Um,
And they were, but then like everybody. I mean, I remember, but especially because they had like a huge crossover with Christians, and so I remember going
right.
to a Christian college at the time. I saw a lot of Creed shirts.
And what year was this?
That was like '99,
Yeah,
2000.
that's around the time. All
Like
right.
there was like my own. Like, I remember my own prison. Or like I remember having discussions with people. I always thought they sucked because I just thought they were a Pearl Jam ripoff.
That's true.
And everybody's like, "No, My Own Prison's a great song about redemption and about sin." And I was like, "You guys are so full of shit right now." they're just they're just a like it's just one of those things that happened. Like they just were in this perfect time because as somebody pointed out on Reddit, like Napster had really happened yet, which kind of blew open like music for a lot of people.
In terms of people hearing different kinds of things.
Yes, and like I don't know, I feel like they kind of hit at this perfect time where like grunge was played out, new metal was happening, but it wasn't like it didn't have a wide appeal. A lot of people were too old for Limp Bizkit's shenanigans. So Creed like hit this safe rock that you could bring home to mom.
I feel like we're listening to a VH1 documentary like a Ken Burns does in 1999. We're hearing emails in the voice of Brendo. We are recording at an earlier hour because I'm on East Coast time
Yeah.
and they are on West Coast time.
9:34 in the morning, man.
Yeah,
Yep.
so do remind me next time to have you list what you thought was number one hits because that was fun, and we will do that at a later hour when everybody has their bearings.
Well, I'm just thinking of things that were popular when I was in high school.
So the last time we talked to you, we teased that we were going to be on a 90210
Yeah,
podcast.
it was
And
awesome.
we recorded that with Kat and Lizzie. We will let you know when that pops up because they were super organized.
They're like the
They
most
were
organized
banking.
podcast.
They were banking episodes. They had a nice space. They had a nice spread for us.
Yeah.
They had a press kit. I kept thinking of Matt Benson and him being the CEO, co-founder of Benview and what he's doing. They got us an ad in a comic book.
Yeah,
That's
they did.
that's nothing to sneeze at. But I think Kat said that she listened to Popsicles or an episode, and it was the one where Brenda hung up on us. And I was like, oh my God. And she's like,
Of
oh,
course,
that's
it's
fun.
that one.
And she listened to the episode after that. I'm like, oh wow, she stuck with it. And I was a little like, it's so weird to ask people to listen because it's so deeply ingrained in our personal issues now.
But is that? I feel like that's a very bad thing. I
It's
don't
a
know what.
it's a bad thing. Well,
I
people
feel like
still
it's a
listen, right?
bad thing because, like, I mean, how many people have we lost because we're just yelling? Like, I just called you motherfucker.
I don't know. People
No,
like that though.
we're like three Mark Marons. We're
I like to think of us as the Three Stooges. I'm the Mo, and Brenda's the Larry, and
I just got mad at you because of this dumb, ludicrous song. Now I'm trying to think about. Now I'm gonna spend the whole time thinking about what ludicrous song I was thinking of.
well, think about it after. All is
Well, I
forgiven.
know he was on the, because he did the, didn't he do the,
I'm
no,
sure that he did some song
didn't he
on
do the
one of the
one
soundtracks.
shot? Do 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 do.
That was
Not him.
that was Two Chains.
What is ludicrous then? I don't even, maybe I don't even know what ludicrous sounds like.
I'm sure he did one of the earlier ones, like when he was the first
Like
one he
Too
did, Too
Fast, Too
Fast, Too
Furious.
Furious. Yeah,
I just went back and watched Tokyo Drift is great. I never
yes,
watched it
I
before
agree.
because by that time I was so upset at the franchise. So when
really?
it came out, I didn't watch it because I thought Too Fast, Too Furious. I didn't like the first one. I didn't like the second one.
I
So
like them both.
when the third one came out, I was done, and so I skipped it. And then like now that I've come back around to the series, like and so I watched, and on HBO Go they had that one and they had 6. So I watched both of them. I mean, I'd watched 6 a bunch of times,
You're in a furious frenzy over
but
there.
Tokyo Drift is really good. And
Yeah.
now that you know how it ties in to the whole series, like you can really appreciate it.
I saw
Especially
Tokyo
now that Lucas Black was in 7, which was awesome.
looking 10 years older.
Yeah. So
I saw
yeah, that did kind of they did kind of have to fudge around. Like I guess they tried this best to recreate his like hair and everything because that's supposed to take place like right
Yeah.
during that movie. So yeah.
Lucas Black was in like when he was a kid, he was in some movie.
Well, he was in a movie with I remember because my friend knew him from that movie with Melanie Griffith.
Milk
Um,
Money, right?
no, it was like Crazy in Alabama,
Oh, he was in Sling Blade too.
and he was
He
in
was the
Sling
kid. He
Blade.
was the
Yeah,
kid.
he was like a big he was a big kid actor for a minute.
I saw Tokyo Drift in a dollar theater in North Hollywood several months after it had come out, and the lights never came on. Like you enter a completely pitch black theater full of rowdies.
Did people go crazy when like Vin Diesel showed up? Because I
The
bet that would
four
have been a
people that
cool
were in the
moment.
theater were going crazy even before the movie started, throwing things.
But now
And
I regret because that would have been cool. Like that would have been a big moment when Vin Diesel shows up in that movie.
right, I think at that point I knew that he was already cameoed because it was months later.
Yeah.
But I enjoy the only one I don't enjoy is four. So I
Four is
enjoy
pretty.
the first three.
That was my reintroduction, and I thought I'm like, this is all right. It's kind of boring,
It was very serious,
and I think I think they realized I think that was their almost misstep of like taking the series into that direction.
and it had that cave climax, racing
Yeah,
in the caves. Not my thing.
Yeah.
but once five happened, like I was so on board with these movies. Seven was
Um,
amazing. I watched it like 3 times. I love it.
Speaking of big franchises, while we
Yeah.
were gone, Marvel had several big events. One of which our correspondent we sent Benson our
Benson's
correspondent.
alive.
All right.
Like
I made it.
So Benson did the 26 hour,
28. Yeah.
28-hour Marvel marathon.
Yeah.
All 11 movies of Marvel.
Yep.
So tell us how that. I read your log,
I
and the
loved your
thing that
write up.
upset
There was like the area where everybody was farting. That was
that was
probably
so
my.
disgusting. I was immediately like, oh. I knew it was gonna be like that. It's not your fault. So I
Yeah,
was
and
Like
there
I've
was
been in that theater, so I know exactly where the area you're talking about.
the thing that upset me the most about your log was how much caffeine and soda that you were drinking. Just
Yeah.
because
I thought it wasn't that much. I would have drinking way more.
to me, one soda a day is like it makes me feel guilty and too much. So reading about
In that
powering through,
situation, I would
I
have.
understand.
Oh my gosh.
But it seemed just
He had
you have a
like two
beautiful body.
sodas.
He had
Two
like
and
a
a half.
soda for every movie, right?
That's
Is
not
that
true. I
He
had
had
two
like
and a
two
half.
and a half sodas for the whole time.
I thought that the log was saying that that was what you were having in between the movies.
No, that was his
Oh, no.
total.
That was
Oh,
my
I thought
total.
you had 11 sodas.
I would have
No.
had 11 sodas easy.
Oh, okay. I gotta
Well, I
read
was
that
trying
log
to
again.
headache, so I was doing a movie of soda and then like 3 movies of water.
Uh-huh.
Hydration would give me natural energy and keep me from getting a headache, and the plan paid off. It worked.
Do you want to pull that up and read it off and we'll comment?
The write-up,
Yeah.
read the whole thing.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's not very long,
try
is
to
it?
write it. Yeah, it's not. It's these were just little live updates I was writing in between movies.
Right. He got tired immediately, which seems like something I would do. Like I would panic and immediately get tired.
Yeah.
See, before Button-Umathon, I slept for like 12 hours.
I thought you would
That was
live
my
tweet it
plan.
or something. I wanted
I
to
did.
feel it as you were going.
I did do one tweet as I was going.
I almost like wanted to Facebook message Nick Murphy and be like, "Is Benson alive? I haven't heard anything from him."
Yeah, I don't like that you don't live tweet things that you're at. You wait till the end. I don't
I
like that.
appreciate it because as somebody that likes to soak in the event, I think I think it's a fine decision.
Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to find. It's no longer on the Agents of Guard homepage. It's been too long. Trying to find it now.
But
Fuck
the
them.
crazy part of it was Nick Murphy, who your viewing buddy, he like hadn't slept beforehand, and then he didn't sleep afterwards for like another crazy amount of hours. Like he flew somewhere afterwards.
I thought that was insane. He told me that at like 2 in the morning. Like that's when that reveal came that was his plan, and I thought that was insane.
Remember when Bill Murray was on Letterman talking about rumors about Ghostbusters 3, and then he was like, "Oh, that's those people that are up all night. Those people on the internet." He was talking about Nick Murphy.
Okay, I got it. You ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, so entry one, April 29th, 3:58 p.m. This was in line. My name is Matt Benson. I'm a reserve agent at Guard. Agents of Guard is the website I posted this for. In roughly 2 hours, I'll begin an 11-film, 28-hour journey into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, beginning with Iron Man and ending with Avengers: Age of Ultron. It's the
So
ultimate
you had
Marvel
to
movie.
wait in line like 2 hours before?
Well, to get good seats, like we all had our tickets, obviously, but I
Yeah,
wanted
it
to
would
make
have
sure I
sucked if you end up like at a crappy seat for 29 hours.
had. Yeah. It will be long. It will be trying. By the end, I may not be coherent. Today and tomorrow, I will prove my dedication as a Marvel fan. I hope the movie theater food doesn't kill me. That was entry one at
I would have packed
3:58.
snacks, like
I did
normal
pack.
snacks. I
I
don't
did pack.
think I could sustain myself on a day of movie theater nachos.
Well, I packed snacks, and they did allow us to leave and get food in downtown Disney and bring it back in. They waived
How,
their no outside food policy.
how long was the breaks in between?
They varied. Some were usual ones were like 15 to 20 minutes, but then they had meal breaks that were like an hour long.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's so weird to program something like that. Like, well, these nerds need to eat sometime.
I would have been worried. See, I would have been scared to leave because, like, what if I fell asleep at like To at like the taco place
Yeah.
there and woke up and it was like 8 p.m. the next day?
It was 2039.
Yeah.
Go
Because that
ahead.
almost happened to me in Austin at the Button Amazon. I went out for breakfast and I did nod off at the table, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get back.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Next entry.
Okay. Entry 2, April 29th, 4:29 p.m. Just got into the theater. There's already a smell. That was true. That was
Oh my god.
early let in. There
How
was a
much
bit
was
of a
the
smell.
ticket price?
Um, entry 3, 4:20.
Oh, what was the ticket price?
Hello?
I think we lost him.
We lost Benson.
Can you hear
Solid
me?
20% didn't even stay for the first appearance of Nick Fury. That really worried me.
Wait, hello, Benson?
Yeah?
We lost you for like a chunk of time.
We lost that second entry.
Okay.
And we were asking you how much do the tickets cost?
Oh, tickets are $70.
Yeah, after that smell, I would seriously start weighing whether I bail on that ticket price or
Well,
not.
and then I wonder, like, so people already came smelly? Like, what?
I think the theater itself had a smell. Is my theory. And I say there was a smell. It wasn't like it wasn't bad. It wasn't like really bad.
Okay, here's an observation. I think something likely. A lot of stuff in the Disneyland Resort kind of smells
Yeah.
because it's like people all day walking around, and like it's just like a mass of people. So like
Yeah.
I remember like if you go into the Emporium at Main Street at like 8 p.m., it smells like a fucking locker room.
Ugh.
Gross. And like you can't totally get that smell out. So I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
I think it was that. I think it was just normal background downtown Disney movie theater smell.
All right, third entry.
Third entry, this was 8:13. This was after Iron Man. I have concerns about the audience. There was a lot of cell phone use, and a solid 20% didn't even stay to see the first appearance of Nick Fury. That blew my mind. People were walking out on the credits of Iron Man. Iron Man is still
Now,
great.
could I like conceivably walk in 3 movies in with my pass
You
and still get a pass with my if I had my pass and just skip
uh,
whole movies?
so you bought tickets for this?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could. There was the guy sitting next to me actually went to Disneyland for all of Phase 2. After Avengers, he went to Disneyland, still didn't sleep, and then came back for Avengers 2.
See, I
So
did a double feature, and I didn't even stay for the first one because I just wanted seats in the dome for the 7
yeah.
p.m. show, and I just drank myself silly in the bar with all the
Yeah,
weird
I saw
Avengers
that.
things.
You're drinking all the Avengers drinks. I'm like, is Derek gonna be like okay to even watch the movie?
I had to eat a full meal beforehand. But yeah, there were people that didn't even show up for that first one, and they just kind of showed up for the second one. And I was afraid of ArcLight policy kicking a lot of people out because they say that that seating rule.
Yeah.
I didn't know if that applied to double features. Anyway, go ahead.
And then I said the moment when Tony sees the Stark Industry logos on the missile before it blows up is perfection. I was just really loving Iron Man there. Okay, so entry 4, April 29th, 10:17, same amount of caffeine. This was after the Incredible Hulk. People don't give the Incredible Hulk nearly enough credit. I like to imagine a world where the reception was a little better, and in addition to all the awesome stuff Marvel has done, they also followed up with the leader and began planting seeds for Red Hulk. Which maybe, I mean, Thunderbolt Ross is coming back in Civil War, so maybe it's not too late.
What were
Uh,
the seeds for Red Hulk?
well, I mean,
Just that
General
he's in
Ross,
it.
yeah.
Well,
I
he was
don't
the
know.
character before that.
Yeah, yeah, I know. But I'm saying that's why I wish they had began planting seeds. There were no seeds really so far. I'm saying I wish they had kind of started to move towards that.
What's that? Tim Blake Nelson would have made a weird leader.
I would have liked to see it still. I think he would have been good. I like Tim Blake Nelson.
Were
Uh,
people excited to see the Hulk? Were they hooting and hollering?
uh, there was it was actually a weird thing where the
Did
sort
Ty
of theater
Burrell get a welcome reception?
the theater manager who was kind of like doing announcements and stuff in between movies really was not a fan of Incredible Hulk and kept making jokes about it, which I think sort of galvanized the audience in support to oppose him.
Oh, good.
There, yeah.
He was the
Um,
Coulson of the audience. Him dying
yeah, he
united the audience.
gave us the push we needed.
Uh-huh.
And then the ominous line at the end of Entry 4, starting to feel a little tired now, but my spirit is strong. Only 9 movies to go.
Oh
And
my God, 9 movies.
that was after Iron Man 2.
That was after Hulk. That was after the
Oh,
Incredible
okay.
Hulk.
Oh, wow. So, and what time was that?
That was 10:17 p.m.
Jesus, so only 3 hours into it.
And when, just so
Pretty
everybody
much.
knows, when Avengers 1 came out, we all did the Phase 1 marathon, which was what, like
Yeah.
10 hours?
Probably it was 6 movies, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a little bit more than 10 hours.
When did
Yeah, I
that
do.
start in the morning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds more doable.
Well, it was one day, and we were out of there by like, because, was it midnight? Was it a midnight Ultron
Well,
Avengers, or did it start
not Avengers, but if you'll recall,
at...
AMC fucked up and didn't start the movie till 12:40.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was a
40
near riot.
difficulties.
So you were waiting around for 40 minutes?
Yeah, after we had been there all day and everybody was like ready to go.
And then
I don't want to be in that situation
I was
either.
alarmed for a little bit. I was a little
at that,
scared.
Were
that
you
very same
impatient or were you just scared of the other impatient people?
Both.
Okay.
at
Bad.
that very same AMC at the block when I did the Cornetto trilogy marathon, they also screwed up the beginning of The World's End. They played with no sound.
For how long?
For just like that, that opening thing where it's like them as kids and him telling the story. Twice with no sound, and then they started again. Started with no sound. Sound came in, and then they restarted it to get the whole thing. It was a mess.
My film history teacher in college played the 400 Blows without subtitles for half the movie. And then and she was like, oops, and then started it from the beginning with subtitles. I'm like, I have to sit through this exact same thing again?
Okay. Entry 5. Officially April 30th now. 12:51 a.m. Still just had the one Coke in me. Films Watch 3. This one starts out with a all caps woo. I got my second. Feeling good, feeling excited. Probably would have been better to hit my second win later, but then it might be good to have something to help me through Thor. I seem to have made an enemy in a large man with long, thinning hair when I opened the bathroom door too quickly while he was trying to exit. I saw him again and was met with a very cold stare. That guy did not. That guy frightened me.
Oh my God, what a world. What a world you guys are living in.
You can't
Uh,
get mad at somebody for something like that. That's out of your control. It's not your
I know,
fault
but
that he was.
these are all comic book. This is an Avengers of comic book dudes, like from The Simpsons.
yeah,
Like
I mean,
lots
this
of
guy looked
shops were
like
closed that day.
comic book guy. This guy that didn't like me.
What shirt was he wearing? Like a large fading Space Ghost shirt?
He just had an Avengers shirt on. It
Oh,
was
okay.
famous.
Oh, so he was that guy.
Yeah. The crowd won me over again with a positive reception for Iron Man 2, which I've always maintained is the best Iron Man, and have been willing to
Crazy.
argue passionately against anyone who would say otherwise. Iron Man 2 is phenomenal. I don't get why people don't like it. It's really great.
Well, it's good, but it's not better than one.
I think it is.
Go on.
Entry 6, April 30th, 2:58 a.m. I had a Mr. Pibb at this point. Uh, Thor snatched all that second wind energy from me, feeling very tired now.
You don't like Thor.
I do not care for Thor, the first Thor.
That's also crazy.
It's a little better seeing it with an audience, but I still think it's the weakest of all of them. Feeling very tired now. I think I'll be okay if I can just make it to daybreak.
Did you ever consider taking a snooze for a movie?
Thor would have been the one I would have snoozed for. I cannot sleep in public. My body just won't allow it, even if I try.
Me either. I like jerk. My body jerks me awake, which was why I had to walk out of Invictus.
And
'Cause
that's as
I
close.
literally exploded.
That's as close as I came to sleeping. There were a few moments where I just started to nod off, and my body just immediately jerked me awake. Okay, so that was Thor. Entry 7, April 30th, 5:10. Captain America: The First Avenger is a very good movie, but I'm so tired. Downtown Disney is a strange sight at 5 in the morning. There's no one around but for some Lego store employees setting up for the day.
They let you out at 5 in the morning
Yeah, they let us out. Although, I don't know if I put it in here, but
just to stretch your legs because nothing's open at that point, right?
so yeah, I saw some men in bright yellow vests digging through the bushes. I don't know what they were looking for.
They're probably digging trash out of the bushes.
Yeah, probably. The early morning air is invigorating, but there's still so long to go. What was I thinking? No human should want this.
So you were doubting yourself at that point, or were you adding a dramatic?
I was having some doubts. I was genuinely thinking it would be fun.
Are you hungry at this point?
No, because I had been eating regularly. I mean, like I said, we could get food at Downtown Disney, and
I know, but in the middle of the night,
I brought power bars with me because I knew those would be good bursts of
was
energy.
the concession stand open all night?
It was, yes, and they gave us actually discounts on hot dogs and nachos if you had a lanyard for the marathon.
Can you imagine having to go to work at 3 in the morning just so some fat comic book bike could get some nachos in between Thor 2? It's such a weird thing.
I do remember at this 5:10 when I was walking around downtown Disney, I did just a full lap, and as I was getting back to the theater, some Disney employees were on ahead with me. They told me I was supposed to stay by the theater, but by that point I'd already made the full lap. But apparently we were not at downtown Disney.
What are they gonna do? Chase you?
Back away, nerd.
Exactly. I was already on my way. I was already going back to the theater anyway, so I got away with it. Okay, so entry 7 ends with no human should want this. Brighter for entry 8. Entry 8, April 30th, 8:25 a.m. The sun is shining. I had a horse bath and a change of clothes in a public restroom, and I feel fantastic. And I've learned that no matter how sleep deprived you may be, the I'm always angry moment in Avengers will always make you so happy you want to run laps around the theater. I was feeling real good after Avengers. That was a real high at that point. Entry 9, April 30th, 1:17 p.m. At this point, I had a cup of chicory coffee at the.
What are you doing drinking chicory?
What's that?
I mean, it didn't taste good. It's some weird root, some weird Louisiana root that they like to put in their coffee, or sometimes drink instead of coffee, I guess.
Where did you get that?
At the Jazz Kitchen, because I was getting beignets, and I saw coffee option, decaf, regular, and chicory.
So
I'll get chicory.
These powdered nerds. White powder everywhere.
Yeah.
You should have got the gumbo.
Well, I wanted beignets. Come on.
I know, but one is enough for me.
It's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, so this was 1:17. This was just after. Oh, I realized I had skipped an entry at this point. Because this was after Thor 2, but I didn't write anything after Iron Man 3. And the reason why is I've been in a weird place since about halfway through Iron Man 3. I feel awake and alert, but also like I might throw up. A significant portion of the audience sleeps now. And then here's the fart. Everyone has been farting in the same spot in the hallway, you can tell. It's the exact distance where they think they're clear of the theater and therefore have fart anonymity.
You could have left that out.
But we all have to walk through the hall. It'd be better if everyone just farted in their seats. At least then it wouldn't be so concentrated. In the lobby, there is a Pitch Perfect 2 display facing the wall. A woman sits in between with about 3 inches of free space. It's a weird scene.
How many women were in this whole
It was
shebang.
pretty even actually. I would say it was like a 50-50 split.
Really?
Yeah. Uh,
Before Avengers started, when I saw it, there was this girl in she was really cute, and she was like dressed as the Marvel logo, kind of like a big red dress.
huh.
And she was like to the guy, there was a one seat gap between them because I think they were with a group, and she was like, so you'll be available to do that on Sunday then? He's like, yeah, sure, sure. And then just as the lights went down, she was like, I was sincere about being friends, do you know that? And
Oh shit!
I had to cover my face. I was like, oh my god,
That's
this
like
is the
that
movie I
guy
want to
doesn't want
see
to
right
hear
now.
that right before Ultra Avengers 2
This
starts.
is the movie I want to watch right now. All
uh,
right, go ahead.
okay, so entry 10.
Were you like
For,
in the hallucinogenic stage at this point?
well, I'll tell you. I mean, I'll let the entry speak for itself. I also, at this point, this is also when I took a selfie to just document what I look like at this point, which you can see on agentsofguard.com. Find the article. So entry 10,
But you don't really look
402.
that much different than fresh as a daisy. You're always kind of just this disheveled guy.
There's a sort of desperation in my eyes though that I don't know that's usually there.
I think it is. Every time I've seen you, you look like
What?
you are. If I could describe what the first look I remember you making is you have the look in your eyes that I want that, and I don't know if I can ever have that. I don't know what you're thinking that about, but you just look like you want something desperately.
Okay, well, it's
You're
good to
always
know.
longingly looking at something. I'm gonna find this
Uh,
picture on Agents of Guard.
okay, so entry 10, 4:02 p.m. Captain America: The Winter Soldier is a terrific film. I feel like I'm gonna die. That was the entirety of that entry.
What were you
Um,
feeling? Just super tired? Headache?
just
What were
time
you?
to be sort of dull throb of a headache, like not bad, but just sort of always there.
Mhm.
Uh, but Guardians of the Galaxy lifted my spirits, as you'll see here. Entry 11, 6:33 p.m. Crowd sang along to "Ooh Child," and it was energizing and uplifting. Unrelated at this point, I think it's statistically unlikely that I will survive the night. So that I was feeling mixed after Guardians. Obviously very energized after the sing along, but still not feeling great health wise. But I took some ibuprofen and some Dramamine heading into Avengers, which leads us to entry 12, 10:40 p.m. This was after I got home. Uh,
I'm looking at the picture. I don't know what you're trying to do here. Are you trying to smile?
I don't. I can't answer that honestly. I might have been trying to smile. I think I was.
Have you seen this,
It's
Brendo?
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm home now. I've been awake for about 36 hours, and Joss Whedon has left me too excited to sleep. This was a tremendous experience. There's simply no way to watch watch Avengers: Age of Ultron, other than immediately following the previous 10 Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. That was the end of my log. And I will say, like, Avengers was so good and exciting that I came home and I had to like putter around for like an hour because I couldn't sleep. I was too wound. I was too excited.
And then your car was immediately stolen from under you.
Well, that was the next morning. The
You've
car
had
the car
quite a
was there when I
ride.
got home, and then when I woke up the next morning, my car was gone. Yeah,
And you got it back though.
I did. The car was found a day later at a tow yard in Anaheim, just like Brendo predicted.
How many miles did they put on it?
I actually haven't checked. I don't think a lot. It
Did
because
you
it
find any evidence, any homework? Because
yeah,
I
no,
found somebody left like a kid's drawing in mine, and we were gonna do like a Lebowski style, try to figure out like
Dear
because it had a
God.
kid. It was like a drawing, and it had the kid's name.
yeah.
Like,
There's
what
a
the
video
fuck is
of,
this?
I don't know, maybe it's on Brendo. What's your blog's name?
Oh, it's on my YouTube channel. It's like one of the first videos I've ever
Of
posted.
you, Phil, and a very tiny Audrey, I think,
Yeah, she's like one.
surveying what was the old car?
It was the neon, the
It's
shitty
surveying
neon.
your disheveled Dodge Neon, just fresh from the tow yard, and you guys are pilfering through the car, and Phil picks up a McDonald's Monopoly placemat thing,
Yeah.
and then you're like, "Hey, look, Monopoly," and then you immediately it's just your POV of your hand just grabbing and going, "Give me that."
They at least they didn't like jack up the car because mine was like very destroyed.
You had to
No, the
start it
car
up with a knife, right?
Yeah.
the car was fine. They stole the stereo, but otherwise,
Who
the car was
steals
fine.
stereos this day and
Was
age?
it like a nice stereo or the stereo it came with?
It was a new stereo. It was like a Bluetooth stereo.
That
Okay,
sucks.
that was your
And
first mistake.
they smoked in the car, so I had to get the smell of cigarettes out of there. But otherwise, it was fine.
So what do you think they used it for? Just joyriding?
I guess.
A
And
lot of times were there. I don't know if you could have determined at the time if there were other car thefts at the time, but a lot of times they will steal like an indescript car to use as like a almost I think like a getaway car or even just like a distraction car while they
yeah.
go around and steal other cars because that's what the police said mine was used for, but I don't know. And also in mine I also found other stereo parts that were not for my stereo, so they were using it. I don't know, it's ridiculous.
Huh.
Because you have like an old Civic, right?
Yeah, 98 Civic.
Yeah. So it's probably, or it could have been kids. I don't know. Was it locked or did they
It was
actually?
locked.
Yeah. So it could have been pros.
Yeah. But I hear like apparently like old Civics are like the most stolen car. They're apparently just like stupid easy to steal for some
It
reason.
could have been a Master Pro that needed to steal 100 cars in
He
like
was on the
12
list.
hours. Well, that was a. I don't know what to say about that whole thing. I don't
I would
know.
have done it if I had been a little bit more on the
Sounds
ball.
like too much for me. I watched each
You
one
watched all of them, but over the course of
over
what,
the
like a week?
like one a day. That was more
It
my
was
speed.
I'd tell you it was worth it in the end.
Well, let's talk about the movie now. We all saw it at this point.
Yeah, I
Everybody's seen
saw it
it.
with Phil on Thursday.
Uh-huh. And you guys loved it.
Yeah.
I did.
I liked it too, but it wasn't as good as the first one.
I think I liked the first one a little more, but I still like this one a whole lot.
Mhm. Like I saw it a second time and it kind of took the wind out of my sails.
I want to see it again. I haven't seen it a second time yet.
Like I enjoy like it was good, but I think everybody was on the same page that I had seen it with. Everybody was like that was good, but we could see some of the flaws, but it's not worth like complaining about. And then I thought the internet was in harmony of what they thought of it. They're like, "Oh, that was good. You know, not as good as the first, but you know, it's fine." And then the weirdest thing happened. Like people were calling Joss Whedon sexist and
People are well.
racist.
I think that's well. For one thing, I mean, I think we're giving an extreme fringe of people a very loud voice, which I know that's what the internet does. I
Uh-huh.
still feel like it's got to be a very minority, small. They're just people are
And
giving
then
them
bandwagoners
attention,
kind of just hearing, "Oh,
and
Joss
then
Whedon did
everybody just
this,"
hopped
and
in,
then
and
like they just get mad at it.
then somehow Jonah Ray's name got dragged into it because they're
What
like,
did
well,
he
one
say?
time he said he was one time Jonah Ray just said one time he had a bad interaction with Joss Whedon. So then all these other people were like, Jonah Ray was right. No, Joss Whedon's a horrible human being, and so Jonah Ray had to be like, whoa, and like
That's
it
his bread
caused.
and butter, the geekness. He can't be destroying his geek ties.
But like I don't know, people are going crazy about everything, and like but I think people are putting too much stake in one. I think it is as Mark Ruffalo said it very well. Like one of the problems is that because there are so few female characters, everybody's putting all their hopes for every female character ever into one character, and of course that's going to lead to disappointment.
Watching Mark Ruffalo deal with people on Twitter was one of the saddest sights I've ever
Well, he
seen. I'm
did
like,
it at
oh my
Reddit
god.
AMA the other day, and I thought he addressed it very well.
But some people were like, "Hey, Joss is great." He was like, "Hey, Joss is great," and people were tweeting Mark Ruffalo, "What are you drunk?" He's like,
Yeah,
"No." It was like that Homer line. He's like, "No, I'm sober and at home with my wife and children."
yeah.
It's just a very straight line.
People, I don't know. I hope it doesn't. If it becomes like how the internet just kind of becomes this hive mind, and there's like these accepted views.
I saw a few jokes about the hive mind that made me
Like
laugh.
if it becomes an accepted view that Joss Whedon is horrible and is sexist, like the world is fucking batshit crazy, and I
Well,
don't know.
it came in waves. There was the one
I
wave
don't
that's
know
like,
if I
"Oh,
want to live
Joss
in it
Whedon
anymore.
sucks," and then the wave was like, "Hey, let's defend Joss Whedon," and then the third wave is like, "Hey, I just don't want to tweet anymore," and it just kind of went. Can we discuss the points discussed without getting too upset?
I don't know. The whole thing is very upsetting for me because it's just again we're giving voice to a bunch of like a small fringe of crazy people.
That's true. It's a very good point. I would like to clarify some things that if they weren't clarified before, because there was a lot of mistakes that were made in this, like the big one being, um, and I don't agree with any of this.
People's interpretations of things in the movie are fucking
Really, really
crazy.
bad.
Like
In
they're
terms of
really
Black Widow saying that she was a monster
that's
because she was
that's
barren.
yeah, that's taken complete. That's not what they were implying at all.
It was because she was an assassin now.
Yes, that's why. And also that's again where I feel like I don't know. I feel like I was rewarded by watching all the Marvel shows
Oh,
because
because of the Black Widow
I've seen all
backstory
the
and
Black
Agent
Widow
Carter.
backstory, and
Uh-huh.
I've seen, and also I knew why they were, how the Avengers got there in the very beginning of the movie. Um,
Right. There was almost a bit of a tiff when I was like, it's weird the Avengers just show up after the last time they were all.
it
I
wasn't a
know,
tiff.
but
I was just pointing out they said exactly why in the show, and
I
I
know.
assumed you would. I guess you stopped
I
watching the
had
show too.
no, I watched it. I just didn't think that it would be such an immediate thing. I didn't think it
Yeah,
would be so clear. But another
exactly.
thing the big thing that bugged me is they're like, well, there's a rape joke in it, and I'm
There,
like,
that is not a rape joke. People are crazy.
and a lot of people didn't even know what that was or what he
I
said. It was,
I don't
go
know
ahead.
what was the I heard about a rape joke. I did not hear
It's
what was the
it's
alleged
people
rape joke.
looking. It's this is what
It's when
happens when
Tony
people.
Stark wants to lift the hammer, and he's like, "I'll become the king of Asgard if I lift it. I'm reinstituting Prima Nocta."
Oh, that's not a rape joke.
It's not a rape joke.
And Prima Nocta is like not a good. I just thought it
It's
was like
not.
a joke.
It's just a silly joke. I mean, it's a freaking. It's a reference to like Braveheart and like fucking.
Yeah,
And Kevin Smith makes those jokes all the time. I mean, another like Kevin Smith makes prima nocta jokes forever. Like, it's just a. I don't know. People. This is the point where I'm like,
it's
where
upsetting. Yeah,
you need if you have nothing better to do than like trying to find ways to be offended at Avengers 2 with all the fucking bullshit that's going on in the real world,
right.
like you need to really evaluate your life. Like I'm sorry, like but you're going after one of the staunchest
Yeah,
feminists in Hollywood when you have nothing better to do than go after Joss Whedon. Like we need to just all check ourselves.
who may have made one or two slip ups along the way. He's not perfect.
Yeah, but come on, nobody is, and like, but for his overall record, come on, like,
Right.
without Joss Whedon, there wouldn't have been any female superheroes would have died out long time ago. Like, we wouldn't even be having conversations about female superheroes.
You know what I think it also is that a lot of people like at a certain age, weren't around for Angel and Buffy, so they don't even have that as
Yeah, I
like
mean that's part of it, I guess.
I think what's his name? It's gone for now, but he'll come
What's his
back.
name? But then,
Um,
like, think about Firefly, think about Serenity, think about all those characters, think
right.
about Agents of Shield, think about all this stuff.
But I
Like,
think a big part of that is people that don't recognize that they see one bad thing and then just get angry at it
well,
without thinking
but
about the
then
context.
I don't even think he did anything because again, it's not like they
Right.
can't. She can't do everything. She's. I mean, they just
She has to be
yes,
flawed somehow to be
and
interesting.
also yes, it is a problem that there is only one female. I mean, now there's two, I guess, but that's not Joss Whedon's fault. That's all of Hollywood's fault. The fact that they're placing all this blame for like lack of female representation, Joss Whedon is doing everything he can.
Right. And
But
I thought it was kind of funny that they put and then there was also a thing about like her being like kidnapped. But I think she was giving like Banner that moment because he was giving Banner the moment instead of Hulk the moment. Like she could
Yeah.
have escaped at any point.
She
And it's
could have
also
gotten
kind of
out of there anytime she wanted to. I mean,
like
come
also
on.
after 3 or 4 movies, isn't that like a funny juxtaposition?
Yes, people are. This is again just people just want to be offended,
Right.
and
And another
it's
thing I
getting
think that's
insane.
aggravating this is the way internet articles are being portrayed. Like
Oh
they
yeah,
one line and that's the headline, and then nobody reads the article and they just get mad at a headline. I hate that.
it's the worst thing that's ever. I mean, I don't know. I'm especially sensitive to this. I don't know. I read this book recently
Uh-huh.
called "Trust Me, I'm Lying." And it's about a guy. It's this guy who basically was a media manipulator for a living. He still kind of is, and he basically lets out all those tricks, like how to like about like clickbait journalism and about like all these blogs are just writing things to get headlines to get clicks, and it doesn't even matter if any of it's true, and they're
Hmm.
just basically and the way they write the headlines is to piss people off because that's the only way people will click.
It's
If
like
people
the
agree with something, they're not going to click it, they're not going to comment. You have to actively antagonize people, and that's what internet journalism has become, and it's just created this toxic environment and
everybody's become Sherry Shepherd on The View.
yeah.
It's that they see a headline and immediately make a snap judgment about it without thinking about it. And then their immediate opinion is what's broadcast. The
And
phone is
rumors and
ringing.
speculation and opinion are presented as news. I mean, you see it all the time now. It's like these leaked emails or this and that. And for like when you read about when you actually go in the article and you find out like they received and like the sources are like completely anonymous and like have not been verified. So like and there are people out there that are actively like sending in bogus tips to blogs and news sites like so anytime like whereas when people see like oh it's an leaked email it must be true my bullshit detector goes off because like you can say anything now anything
Well,
it's
Joss
crazy.
Whedon is gone from Twitter, but he says he was planning to do it when he finished the
I
movie
think
anyway.
he's just kind of tired of everything.
I loved his Twitter. It was funny. When he
Yeah,
was
I'm gonna
writing Avengers 2, he was like asking for a friend. If you had a character, let's call him Blackton Banerica and the Sulk, would it be cool if Intellibees attacked them while they were having lunch? I thought that was funny. And then for a while he just kept hashtagging Intellibees.
yeah, and now we don't get that anymore. But I don't. I mean, it sounds to me like yeah, he was already not gonna because I think he tends to go on. I mean, he's probably gonna go work on something brand new now, which is exciting.
Right.
But also, I think he deserves a break. He's been working
Definitely.
nonstop.
You didn't happen to look at the Tumblr of what people are tweeting him, right?
I saw it and it was horrible.
Yeah,
It
don't
was
look at it.
terrible. But
Um,
that's just when you look at it though, it's a handful of crazy people.
yeah, and then if you look at the apparently a lot of the people that were doing it, if you look at the other things they were tweeting, it was to like any celebrity they could tweet
Yeah,
to. So you're good at me to yell at me when I make fun of Zack Snyder. I'll allow that
I don't know. You
because
got
it's
better things
true.
to do.
It's true, but that Aquaman's dumb. Anyway, in lighter Marvel backlash, the perceived less than stellar reception to Avengers 2 created, and this is another thing I didn't like, a bunch of like think piece articles about the Marvel
Yeah,
industrial
fuck
complex.
that shit. Fuck all that shit. People are fucking crazy. This is, I don't know. Phil and I were kind of talking about this, and I'm just like,
It's like Obama. Like everybody roots for him until he reaches a certain point, and then people that like when you get to the top, you're kind of like a target, you know?
but I'm just like, I will never get to that point because this is what I've been waiting for since we were
Right.
kids. This is
I
what we've
don't
dreamed
think
about. We live in this fucking world, and now I guess we have nothing better to do than just start
think
tearing it
pieces.
apart. Like,
Yeah, deconstructionism. But and what did Phil think?
Phil loved it.
Yeah.
Like absolutely loved it and he's like this is amazing. I mean, when you're in it and you like just that first shot where it was like splash page style when they're all coming,
Yeah,
Like that was
that was
fucking
crazy.
amazing. The Hulkbuster fight, as much as they showed that in the trailer, it was still I was still freaking out the whole time. Like the
My
last like
favorite line
everything.
is in that movie. In the
Vision
movie
was
is in
fucking
that.
great. I freaked out when they went to Wakanda. Like when they chop off that because it's claw and that's how he gets his fucking claw because they chopped off his arm. That's fucking crazy.
So many extreme emotions happening about this.
I was
Um,
excited the whole time. I loved it. I mean, I'm bummed. I mean, spoilers. I was bummed about Pietro, but if that's what's gonna make Scarlet Witch into Scarlet Witch,
yeah,
as like, and also they could do a lot of things. I mean, they've been messing around with genetics and that Hawkeye machine, so maybe they stick Pietro in there. We don't know.
yeah. The Feige says he's dead, but I never believe anybody. Nolan said he'd never do Robin, and then we got John Robin.
Yeah, but that was horrible. So I don't
Yeah.
know.
Um,
I remember I got mad at you for laughing at that, and then I watched it again. I'm like, oh, I guess that is pretty
you weren't
horrible.
even sitting near me. Just think of how mad you would have gotten if I
Well, I
did it at the
remember
time.
when you did. I wasn't with you at the time, but afterwards, that was the first thing you were talking about. I'm
I
like,
was
this is
shocked.
crazy.
I was in a pilgrim in an unholy land. If I could take a line from Henry Jones Sr., because
Well,
everybody was all jazzed off of the high of seeing it, but I was like, oh, I did not like that.
that didn't happen to me until like my second watching, and then I was like, wait a minute, what is happening in this movie?
What do you think about it now? I've
I
never
don't
asked
like
you.
it. I don't
Oh,
like
okay.
it. I mean, I like parts of it, but then just the overall idea, and also the idea that Batman would like quit being Batman, just doesn't make any goddamn sense. The whole Bane's plan doesn't make any sense. A lot of things in that movie, on a second look, like Bane's whole plan relied on luck, and like I'm sorry, but like that whole plan like doesn't make sense when you look at it again. Like
And you were
Yeah,
the one that
you
came down the stairs and go ahead.
you can say that about Joker's plan in The Dark Knight as
yeah,
well.
but
I would say
that's more true to Joker's character though.
yeah,
The Joker would
Chaos.
do that. But Bane and what's her face, like that was like a carefully laid out plan over years. Yet it was relying on just these elements of chance.
And you were the one that come down the stairs. I don't know. I don't remember how you told
Well,
me,
I
but for
remember I
some
was
reason
checking Twitter and I was like, you guys, something
in
just
my mind, you were screaming it like there's been a shooting. There's been a shooting of Batman. It was
and I was
freaky.
shocked. I was
We
reading
were
it
all
in
shocked.
shock at the time. Because I was gonna post like, just saw Batman and I saw my Twitter and I was like, oh fuck.
Again, extreme emotions all around.
Yeah.
These comic book movies, man,
Well,
they
I
make you
think it's
so
just
emotional.
because I don't know. I put so much stake in this stuff just because again, this is something I've been waiting for years, and now we're living in like people don't even know what it was like before X-Men. Like
Right, and I don't believe in superhero fatigue because it's been
I
done
don't
so
either.
differently. I mean,
yeah.
everything is so different.
Yeah.
So, in the wake of all that, um, they announced just yesterday the cast for Captain America Civil
Civil War,
War.
yeah.
We got Ant-Man's gonna show up. I mean, Scarlet Witch was already announced, but there's gonna be Vision
Is
and
Spider-Man gonna be in it? Like, have they said
Spider. It's been
Spider-Man's?
too many people say confirmed when they don't even
Yeah.
have that confirmed, but I would suspect
If
that
they're
it is.
gonna, if that seems to me like the most logical starting point, but like that's where Luke Cage is in it, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Oh, it's not.
No, I think they're just
Where is he gonna show up then?
he has his own Netflix show. He's
Okay.
showing up in Alien, aka Jessica Jones,
Oh, that's right.
and
Okay,
then he
and
has
then Black Panther is gonna be in Civil War, right?
Black Panther,
Yeah.
um, Vision. I mean, it was
Oh, that's
basically
right.
everybody but Hulk and Thor, basically, which is crazy.
Because I was reading, I guess like Rosario Dawson's character on on
Daredevil.
Daredevil is the connection to Luke Cage, and like so she might be in both shows.
Right. You know the thing about did you know that she alludes to dating the guy that becomes Deathlock in Agents of Shield?
Oh, I missed
Correct,
that.
Mike. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
Mike. Okay. I thought that was just a joke about Mike, because the whole Mike Murdoch thing, where like in the comic,
It
they
was his
when
brother.
That well, he got like his goofy twin, so he could like go out and do a in like so he could pretend he could see, like that
Oh
was his
no.
like alter ego.
Um,
I think it was
and
both.
I think it could have been both, yeah.
they announced that Agents of Shield will get a season 3.
Yeah,
Agent Carter will get a season 2.
but not the spinoff isn't happening,
But the
which
spinoff isn't happening.
that seemed a little too much for me because they haven't even resolved the whole like they I feel like they haven't done enough with Black Canary to have her spin off yet.
Blackbird
Blackbird, sorry.
or maybe Mockingbird.
Mockingbird.
Yeah.
Who's Black Canary?
She's on
A
Arrow.
different character? Oh, okay, that's
With
Arrow. I'm
DC.
thinking, yeah, duh.
But
Okay.
speaking of DC, they released the
Everybody's
Suicide
saying that the
Squad.
Flash is good now. Should I give it a
No,
chance?
it's so horrible.
Everybody's
It's the
freaking out
worst.
about it.
I
Everybody's
know, but they like seeing things that they know. The Atom is basically Iron Man. He has an Iron Man suit. It's Brandon Routh trying to be Robert Downey Jr. And the Atom is flying around like he's Iron. It's so weird. But
Yeah,
speaking of DC,
I don't know. I really like Agents of Shield and I really like Agent of Carter, so I'm really excited.
the Suicide Squad
Everybody's freaking out about Suicide Squad.
picture of the cast came out, and I think it's awesome.
I thought the Harley. I think Deadshot looks cool.
Even when he's in his there's a lot of him in his I guess earlier days where he's wearing like a big brimmed hat and like a really nice coat, and people comparing it to his Jim West look in Wild Wild West. Anyway, I don't think we talked about the Joker.
No.
Picture,
So the
did we?
Joker picture happened and everybody freaked out about that.
I think it's fine. I mean, whatever to me, but I love
To
the
me,
jokes about it.
it looks a lot like. I mean, it's pretty much they're replicating the Alex Ross cover. I mean, that's pretty much what that is, just in that different style of Joker.
Right. Hold on, somebody's calling. Leave him a message. Go ahead and talk over them, please.
Somebody. So you're in Michigan right now?
I'm in Michigan right now, staying in
You're
my
on like a
uncle's house.
Derek retreat.
On a retreat from LA.
Yeah. Do you miss it already? Do you miss hustle
I
and
feel
bustle?
like every time I leave LA, I feel like I'm dying. Like I'm never coming back. It's weird. Anyway, so I think it's fun to make fun of the Joker picture at the same time I like it. But the jokes were amazing
Everybody, there was some funny stuff
on the Twitter. But I can't abide by anybody making fun of that Suicide Squad picture because they all look cool.
I think they look cool. I don't have a problem with it.
And if you've seen that movie, the Arkham Assault movie, there was a backdoor Suicide Squad movie. You could see how cool it could be. It could be their Guardians
What's
of
the
the
Arkham
Galaxy.
Assault movie?
Oh, you haven't seen it? It's a DC animated movie, and it was supposed to take place within the world of Arkham Asylum. But what it really is a Suicide Squad movie. So it's called Batman Arkham Assault, but it follows the Suicide Squad having to break into Arkham to save the Riddler or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then Batman shows up to fuck their shit up. And then Joker seduces Harley to break him out. So there's these two forces of nature that are fucking up their mission.
Mm-hmm.
And if they fail, they die. And if they accomplish it, they get nothing out of it. It's a cool it's a cool Dirty Dozen kind of thing.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
think
like Batman and
that
Joker the villain at the same time. It's awesome.
And I think they are incorporating Arkham into like the Arkham that seems to be part of the look of things.
And it's
like the Harley Quinn especially.
That is a Zack Snyder looking world.
Well, I mean, yeah, a lot of the criticisms I read was it looks very sucker punchy, but
I forgot about that movie.
And I mean, that does kind of raise some alarms. But Zack Snyder's not doing Suicide Squad, is he?
No, it's
that
David
other guy.
Ayer.
Yeah.
Training Day, High Crimes, my favorite Christian Bale movie.
Speaking of, because we were talking about the Arkham,
hold on.
It reminded me of Batman Live, and I do regret not going to Marvel Live because someone posted some video, and it showed Spider-Man fighting with the Avengers against Loki and shit, and I was like, oh fuck, I would have loved to see that.
Keanu Reeves was in Street Kings. and then he made End of Watch and Sabotage. All good movies. I didn't like Fury. That was the only one I didn't like.
I guess I haven't seen some of those. End of Watch was great.
Yeah.
End of Watch was like upsetting.
And Tom Hardy was supposed to be Rick Flag. I always confuse it with a character from The Stand.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so Rick Flag, but he couldn't do it because some other movie is running along. Tom Hardy's an it boy, man. I like Tom Hardy.
He's great. I cannot. I am so excited for Mad Max. I'm so
Yeah,
excited.
I'm gonna have to. I can't watch it immediately. Oh my God, it's gonna be the worst. I don't want to know if it's good. I guess if it's good, I
Seems
want to
like
know.
everybody I know that's seen it is freaking out about it.
But if
So
it's bad, I don't want to know it's bad for 4 days before I watch it. To be me, Brendo.
why can't you watch it?
Well, I'm in the midst of vacation here, and I can't immediately go to a movie.
Oh, you don't have a car or something?
No. It's very busy here. There's a lot of. I'm going to be helping with a DJ gig, a few DJ gigs.
Ooh, like some family events?
Well, because my uncle has a DJ business, and it's
Oh.
booming right now. So our weekends are kind of packed. We've got a prom. I'm going to be working a prom,
Dude, that's
a Midwestern prom.
What's your DJ name?
I mean, I'm not the DJ, so
Okay. You're just like the DJ assistant?
I'm DJ, set up the lights, and a work in
So
the
this
span
isn't
of
the return of DJ D-Rock?
in the span of I think maybe 2 days, I'm going to be working a 50th wedding anniversary and a prom.
That's like the opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what songs get people on the dance floor.
What's the playlist at like a 50th?
I don't know.
Wedding?
That's the thing, because I can kind of guess what the
We're talking
prom
like
people would like.
some like 70s and 80s like standards here.
Well, my
Like-
uncle doesn't approve of the normal hits. He likes to put some
Mhm.
obscure hits into there. Maybe some Romeo Void, maybe.
Hmm.
That'd be nice.
Speaking of 80s, Phil and I got to see Flock of Seagulls and Berlin came to Ukaipa. It was crazy.
It was funny to see you freak out over that.
Well, just to hear when she was singing "Take My Breath Away," she was like, "Take my breath away, Ukaipa," and everyone went crazy.
Oh my God,
It was so fun.
so patronizing.
And it was Flock of Seagulls just had a lot of some of these guys, like I've seen some of these acts where like I was bummed when I saw
Did they just show up, or did you go to a ticketed event planning
no,
to see
this
them?
was a like citywide, like it's like a music festival thing, but it's kind of like a block party street fair type thing.
Uh-huh.
And you just show up like it was a planned event, but they were part of it.
So
But it
that's
was-
the Ukaipa Entertainment Barometer.
Yeah.
Flock of seagulls showing up.
But they were, I don't know, I've been to some of these 80s acts and sometimes they're just not into it. Like I remember going to see, who did I see? Psychedelic Furs, and like that dude could not give two fucks.
What was their hit?
Pretty in Pink and like Love My Way and
Strang went to go see the Spin Doctors in Alaska, and they played Two Princes first, and they started playing their lesser hits as they went on, and he took pictures of the audiences leaving.
See, that's
after
where
the first song.
both of these guys were smart because Berlin played "Take My Breath Away" last, but they have a few other hits, so they kind of spread them out. And then Flock of Seagulls has like two hits, and they played their first one, but then they didn't play "Iran" until very last, so people stayed through the whole.
I can't even name another Flock of Seagulls song.
Well, they have "Space Age Love Song," which a lot of people, if you heard it, you would know it. But Berlin
ahead,
has like
sing a little bit
quite
of
a
it.
few. It's mostly there's a lot of instrumental part, and then it's like I was falling in love, the son of a, and and she took my word. I was falling in love. Okay.
I was gonna let that go for as
But
long.
like Berlin had a few, like they got like No More Words and like what's that
Is
other one?
Extreme still tour?
Riding on a Metro. I don't know. I saw them at MGM Studios when I was like 9.
At Disney World.
Yeah,
My
I
favorite
guess I
moment
was
in a movie
13.
ever is of in The Love Guru when Mike Myers tries to have his Harpo Marx moment, where a little musical interlude in between the comedy, and he sings more than words on a sitar, like the whole song, like sincerely. And I'm like, if there were people in this audience, they would be guffawing.
Well, he did that in Austin Powers.
I know, but it was just so weird. And then like Jessica Alba comes into the room and she's like beaming at him, like, "Oh, this is so awesome."
I remember
A,
that
Jessica Alba
song.
being his love interest in a movie is
That
weird.
was another one. That song would have been on my list for like hits because that song was huge. More than
I read
words.
that a lot of people don't consider Extreme to be the kind of like the hardcore like Pearl Jams and stuff. They consider Extreme to be like a joke
Oh yeah,
because it was that their like did they have any hard rock songs or was it all like
well,
soft rock?
their songs were the rest of their songs were just kind of like generic rock songs, but they were trying to be like this like kind of grunge band, but then that was like their ballad. So they
Uh-huh.
were still, but like the thing about grunge was like that the whole thing about ballads was these metal and rock bands that were like, oh, we're soft too, and like that was how like, but like grunge didn't have that. You didn't hear Nirvana or like any of those bands doing these shitty radio friendly ballads.
Hmm.
So it was almost like at the time it was almost that was like the last one. So it was like a relic of a dying age.
Yeah, Kurt Cobain was trying to play Rape Me at the MTV Movie Awards and everybody's freaking out. Thinking of just playing more than words.
Oh my gosh, that I just watched that documentary on
Oh yeah, on
HBO.
HBO.
It's
It was
so
in
good. It's
theaters for a week
so
and then it left. I wanted to see it in
yeah, they
theaters.
did it LA and New York, like same thing as that they did with Going Clear, I guess. Um, it's really good. It's really depressing, but it's kind of
Oh.
shocking how candid Courtney Love is because she always seems to me like sometimes she's trying to portray herself in like a oh, but like she's pretty crazy honest in this, like to a level that's kind of nuts.
Did she cop to the fact that she sold the image of Kurt Cobain for Doc Martens of him in heaven?
No, but I
Remember
mean, she
that?
talked about. I remember that, but she did talk about the fact that she did heroin. She admitted to doing heroin during her pregnancy.
Oh my
She admitted
God.
to the reason, like, she had never talked about this before. It was always speculation when Kurt first tried to kill himself, and like I remember when that happened.
In
Um,
Rome.
in Rome, it was because he thought she was. She admitted it was because he thought she was cheating on him, but she said she never did, but she was going to, and that was enough for him to try and kill himself.
When was she with the Smashing Pumpkins guy?
Well, that was like she wasn't. I don't think they ever dated.
Was
Dated.
that before or after?
Well,
Or
that was
during?
during that time they were friends, and like she collaborated with him.
What was the other person she was like that wrote her whole like people accuse
Um,
other people of writing the good whole songs.
well, I mean Billy Corgan, Kurt Cobain.
Is there one other guy?
I don't know.
Anyway.
I wasn't. I didn't. I was never like that into whole. Um, but I was. But I was. I mean, I was. I was because I was just a huge Nirvana fan. I mean,
Mhm.
I've worshipped them. That's the other thing is the one other thing about the documentary that bummed me out. But I get it because Courtney hates Dave Grohl so much. Like they don't actually him and Pat Smear like they don't. They're in the movie, but not in like interviews and stuff, which I feel
Uh,
like you are kind of missing. But this is more that. But the movie isn't really about the band; it's about Kurt. So you
I
know,
think we reported on it at the time, but remember when she was mad that
she's mad at the Muppets, right?
Match the Muppets
That
for
was
having
ridiculous.
Smells Like Teen Spirit in it?
Which obviously that was probably a Dave Grohl call, and then she flipped out about it because I
Nobody was
think
mad at Moulin Rouge. Remember that?
yeah.
All right, we got mail here. This is an inside the park home run, I like to call it, because it's within the Benview family. It's from Mark Bolton,
Comic Nerds Unite.
Yep.
Comic Nerds Unite. He says, "Hey guys, Mark Bolton here. I listened to episode 80 last week, and it was one of your best. I was having a rough week. I was fighting a cold, and your podcast really helped me get through my work day. How about that? What if we were medically good for you?
If we
Maybe
could
that's
get
how
like
we
the
should market.
FDA approval,
Yeah.
this podcast is good for your health.
Here's a fun hypothetical question. You're all getting married, not to each other, but to different foxy people that you're into. You get to choose who officiates the ceremony, the band, the reception, and the caterers. Who and what would you pick? Any living person or people are available. I would choose Jon Stewart to officiate, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers as the band, and Taco Bell the caterer. I don't think I would talk to you ever again if I went to a wedding that had Taco Bell. At least try to be bougie. I need a
Well, that
bougie wedding.
that was one of the things, that whole outrage about the pizza place that said they wouldn't cater to a gay wedding. I'm like, no gay wedding ever is going to have pizza delivered to it, because people would, that would be like, I've been to some trashy weddings. Like, I've been to weddings where like the bar is like a bucket full of Budweiser. Um, but like, but I've never been to a wedding where they just didn't give a shit enough, where they just had pizza.
What did they serve at Andrew's wedding? Because we weren't invited to it.
They had Brazilian food.
Oh, that
Okay.
sounds good.
What would you think Andrew would have had if he had his druthers?
I mean, he likes Brazilian food because of Juliana.
Brazilian barbecue is amazing.
But if that wasn't the case, what would he have? If somebody
I don't
wasn't pushing him to try new things.
Plain hamburgers.
Plain hamburgers. Oh my god. Um,
I know what I would have.
remember when we went to the what was it? It was the Bellagio buffet in
Oh my
Las
God.
Vegas,
And they
there
were
was
having the
wedding
wedding reception.
which I think I mean to this day I'm like I don't see what's completely wrong with that, but we
Well,
were
it was,
with
I
somebody
remember
that was did
it was
did
a
have
little
problems.
ridiculous, and it was like a pregnant bride situation.
yeah.
It just kind of added to it.
Everybody was dressed nicely. At least.
Everybody was dressed nicely, but there was some of like that we were trying to figure out who was who, and it looked like there was at least one upset dad.
I figure if you're in Las Vegas and there's a place to put a bunch of people for food, that's fine.
That's true. I mean, if you're already doing the Vegas wedding thing, I feel like that does kind of work. But
I
even
also
past that,
later on I dragged Ross to a one of those chapel weddings in a very bad part of Las Vegas. Elvis sang. Anyway, what would you do?
well, I'm trying to think who I would get to officiate.
Is it going to be like wrestling themed?
No. Well, now that you mention that, maybe I'd get
You
like
want Jerry the King Lawler to officiate?
Paul Heyman to officiate my wedding. No,
Who's Paul Heyman?
he's the greatest manager, talker.
He's one of those guys in the suits.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe him, but I don't know. I would think like maybe like Bill Murray or somebody would be good.
Wow,
He'd
we're
probably-
just stars over here.
He'd be like a character. Well, hey, it said anybody. I mean, if I was being
Yeah.
realistic, it would be my friend Mike or Phil or somebody. But
That'd be nice.
but Phil would be like, I want Phil to do like the music. But if I'm like, if I
Phil
could have
does everything.
anybody,
That would be creepy if it was like Phil officiates and then Phil does the music and then afterwards we eat Phil.
because I would say Phil is my best man, but my brother's my best man.
Uh-huh.
Phil would be a groomsman, but anyways, my music would be Erasure just because it would be fun.
Who's that?
They're a synth pop group that was really popular in the '80s, but they're still touring and they're super awesome.
Okay.
And it's just I don't know, they have a lot of hits. Their biggest one's probably Chains of Love. But if you heard it, it's one of those things. I don't know. If you look them
It's
up,
like
you know.
chains of love, chains of love, like that.
No, that's Tainted Love.
Oh, okay.
That's Soft Cell. But I would have them just because it would be a lot of fun, and there'd be a lot of fun. And then for
I love that you're
food-
also a music nerd. Like, it reminds me of the Adam Sandler character that Little Nicky was based off of. I like that. You don't see a lot of music nerds. There's Garth, there's the Adam Sandler character, and that's it. Maybe a few Cameron Crowe
See, I try to
characters.
be more, like Cameron Crowe style, or like High Fidelity John
Right.
Hughes.
Right.
Not John Hughes, John Cusack, geez. But
But that guy that was into the bald guy, the one that was in the lemon heads.
that guy was that's my we because there's equivalent characters like my friend like when like that guy is my friend Matt Moss like that's my friend Matt like
Mhm.
he's
This is
total
the
punk
same guy that
rocker.
played the guy that gave Jerry Maguire the jazz tape. Or is
Yes.
that a different bald guy? Okay.
No, I think it's a different guy.
All right. Getting my
Anyways,
white bald people mixed up.
my food would at first I was like in and out truck, but then I'm like, no, I gotta go a little bit higher if I could
That's
have
like when you
anything.
win an Oscar, everybody goes to In-N-Out. That's like the I'm salt of the earth type of people. So
But
I
if
would think
I'm
that's Hollywood good.
if I could do anything though, um, there's this Mongolian barbecue place in San Diego called Stir Fresh, and they have like a catering truck where they'll bring out the Mongolian barbecue, and like you can do Mongolian barbecue, and that'd be awesome.
Is that the place that you were at when you forgot you had to do popsicles?
Probably.
Because if it's that good, the all time alleviates, that's a pretty good selling point.
But yeah, it was really good.
Okay,
Although the
Benson?
place, although I don't know now I think I have a new favorite Mongolian barbecue place. My friend Mike took Benson and I to this place in Santa Rosa that was amazing.
Benson, how about you?
I really liked it.
I gotta hear this.
Bill Murray would officiate.
No, he already chose that. Pick somebody else.
I was already thinking that before Brendo said it. It's not my fault you asked him first.
What would be your second choice?
Han Solo.
Did he say fictional characters?
Can I have Harrison Ford do it in character as Han Solo?
Uh, this poor girl that you're marrying. Or guy.
Oh, Derek's gonna be so sophisticated.
Music would definitely be Bowie. David Bowie would would sing at the
I can
wedding.
see you guys all dancing to that Knight's Tale song. Are you marrying Shannon Sossaman?
Sure. I'm sorry, I didn't have an add-on for that. Can you guys still hear me? I'm not
Yeah.
hearing
Yeah,
anything.
yeah.
All right. For food, I think, and I guess this would technically even be doable. I think I would try to get my Ben and Spielberg co-host Justin Keys on to do the food, because he always posts picture of food he cooks on Facebook, and it always looks incredible.
What kind
And
of food?
I've been genuinely thinking of schemes to get him to cook for me because it looks amazing.
What kind
A
of
lot
food
of
is it?
times it's Filipino food a lot of the time, but then sometimes it's just kind of any kind of food.
Well, what you do, and here's another free idea for you, Benson, is to get him to make a dish that corresponds with the movie that you're reviewing.
It's true. What would they have eaten in 1941, Justin? Maybe we can figure that out.
Old-timey, what's an old-timey thing? Frankfurters, nickel Frankfurters.
Yeah. He can make dates for when we do Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Well, when Strang did Spielberg Slam, an event that you would be, I guess, apathetic about, he had hot medallion soup, which was like a really spicy soup, I guess.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Anyway, I'm glad that it wasn't like Wendy's or spicy. What's that thing you go to? Spicy burger or pepper
Volcano burger.
A volcano burger. Yeah.
Glad it wasn't that.
What about you, Derek?
Let's see,
Mr.
let me
I got
think
all
here.
I'm all class.
I haven't thought about it here. Would it be somebody I know? I guess it would have to be, because if it was somebody I didn't know, then that's like insincere. Maybe Brendo. You want to officiate it?
Sure, I'd officiate your wedding.
He would be. There would. I feel that if he did speeches and stuff, there wouldn't be any. I don't know. Maybe this isn't the case. He wouldn't be like doing jokes to my detriment. It would all be like he would
Oh
be
no,
so
that'd
happy
be
to be.
wonderful.
He would be happy to be up there, and he would be super positive. That'd be nice. Maybe you two as a duo.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Would you be up to that? I can see you clamming up, Benson.
Well, I've given a best man speech to acclaim before.
That's true. So you guys could do that. Rilo Kiley would be. I would pay them money to reunite. They would sing "Teenage Love Song." That would be the first. That would be the first dance song.
Yeah.
even though it's like a really sad song about fucking probably Christian Slater in a motel. And what's the third one?
Food.
Food.
Rock and Roll With Me would have been the first dance song, by the way, with Bowie.
There would have been. There would be Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuits, like unlimited,
Yeah.
and maybe like smokehouse food. I like the smokehouse.
Like smokehouse prime rib or something.
Well, you're really into that prime rib, so I'd make sure there was at least one prime rib for the Brendel
And
man.
the garlic bread.
Garlic bread. There would be many breads. It would be Red Lobster / Smokehouse / Philippe's potato salad. That sounds pretty good. What would be your first dance song to Erasure?
Oh man, there's so many. It would probably be like oh man, I don't even know. There's so many to choose from.
Is there like a slow song?
Well, like a slow song.
I wish I knew Erasure, because if it was like Portishead, that would be like a funny thing to start saying what the first songs would be for Portishead.
Probably I'll probably like for a slow song be like their song Always.
How does that go?
Always I wanna be with you and make believe with you and live in harmony
Oh, I've heard that.
always. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
And then
Could I
like,
laugh
but
as
then
you
like good
dance?
but they have a lot of good like dance songs like Chains of Love and like
How
like
does Chains of Love
Respect.
go?
Come with me, hold me. Together we'll break these chains of love. Don't give up. Don't give up.
Can I change Brendo to be the music? You don't get any band, no music whatsoever. You're just interpreting it.
The other day, Rocket Man came on the radio, and that was all I could think of was Shatner doing it. But then I started doing it. I'm like, I could do my own Rocket Man interpretation.
And then you thought of the Harlan Williams movie.
Yep.
Yeah, Phil made me watch that.
I've never seen it still.
Phil, I think, has it on DVDs.
I think because I disapprove of the joke in it that made the poster of him farting in his spacesuit. And it's really big now. I don't think I like that.
That was a big time movie for me when I was a kid.
No, I have no doubts about that. All right, that sounds good.
Yeah.
I think we're done. Trying to
You
think
want
of
me
more wedding. I want to plan our wedding some more.
I got
thinking
material
about it.
for my segment.
Oh,
My
you
1 minute.
doing the minute of pop?
You want me? Are we gonna
Yeah.
keep doing that? Because I
Yeah,
actually got
forgot
some
about
stuff
that.
together.
Good, you're prepared. All right, I'll get a stopwatch here. I'll
These are
give
just
Brandon
headlines. I think I'm gonna be able to do this pretty
I'll
easily.
give Brandon 60 seconds to
I
highlight
feel like I should do like a "We Didn't Start the Fire" song, like
You can do that if you
this
want.
is what happened this week.
Or in the last two and a half
This
weeks
has
or
been a
so.
couple weeks, but this
All
is
right.
more. I forgot to do it, and then I got some recent stuff. So
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, ready, set, and go.
Joss Whedon quit Twitter because people are dipshits. People freaked out over Suicide Squad photos. Martin Freeman will be in Captain America: Civil War. The fucking kid from Where the Millers is playing Pennywise the Clown in the
That's my
It
favorite
remake.
tweet. The
and I
fucking
don't-
kid from Where the Millers.
And I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense. In Benson-related news, everybody's making fun of Shaq because he fell down on live television.
Yep.
And it's pretty funny, actually, if you watch it.
30
I've seen the
seconds.
video.
There's a new royal baby, so my mom's freaking out. And Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Agents of Carter both got renewed, but there's not going to be a spin-off. That spin-off show isn't going to happen. And there's going to be Nintendo rides at Universal. Phil and I spent some time talking about what the
10
rides
seconds.
would be. I'm really hoping that there's like a Mario Kart ride and a Donkey Kong minecart ride and like some kind of
5,
Zelda Dark
4,
ride. It's
3,
going to be awesome, you guys.
2, 1. Very good. Some good topics that we didn't get to. One of them, I forgot what it was. What was one of the things that you said I wanted to comment about? I guess it was the weird Pennywise kid. Like
Yeah.
him. Like, he
The
is
fact
so
that
weird.
it's a kid, I don't understand.
Well, he's like, what, 20, 21?
Still doesn't work for me.
Who would you cast as Pennywise?
If you couldn't, for me, it is Tim Curry, but if we're having to have to cast somebody else, I mean, I don't know. It's got to be like somebody freaky, like Willem Dafoe or somebody.
What if it was like Simon Pegg?
I think Simon Pegg could pull it off. I'd rather see Simon Pegg than this kid. It's just weird that it's a
That was my
kid,
favorite tweet of the week. The fucking nerd from We're the Millers, no context.
but I mean, I don't know. I'm curious about the new script because I read the old script and I don't know, it's kind of a mess for me. So
And the Nintendo rides thing.
that's so exciting. I'm so
I
excited.
what if they build them all in Singapore?
I'm a little worried that might be the case or Japan. But they wouldn't. I feel like this announcement, the way they made the announcement, it seems like it's also going to be an American audience because when they have done Nintendo's done stuff at other theme parks and they didn't make it that big of a deal.
Really?
I'm hoping that they will this will be more of their American theme parks. I really hope so. That'd be cool.
Do
The
you
idea
think
of like
this
a
is?
Mario Kart ride would be fucking crazy.
I was thinking about what that would be, but it would basically be playing Mario Kart.
Yeah, but it'd be
I
awesome.
was like, I wonder if they could do that.
Well,
I
you
wonder
could.
if that's
I
a
don't think
thing
they
that
would make
anybody's
it like
thought
an.
of to
I
do.
don't. Well, there's so many liabilities if you're letting people just race like that.
Well, not like a
Like,
real race, but like being in a
yeah,
pod where
I can.
you're
I
racing
think.
with other people,
Well, like they could. It would be
like with a
kind of
video
like
screen.
they could do it that way, or they could do it like the Cars ride, but like a little bit, like just a little, like but different. But I think a Donkey Kong minecart ride that'd be fucking sweet.
Pretty cool.
Do you
Like,
think this is like a desperate attempt from Nintendo that was originally so careful with how its characters are used? Like they don't know what to do for the next system, or
well, I
is
think they're
this?
just they have been they are opening up to other things. Like they already announced they're working on mobile games, which is a huge deal. So I don't know. I just think they're
Um,
branching out.
Speaking of that, McDonald's trying the breakfast all day. I think we talked about it, but like McDonald's is doing really bad, and they're starting to get really desperate. I can't wait.
Well, everybody's. Oh yeah, that's what I. That's the other thing. Everybody's the hamburger thing. Hamburglar,
I forgot
like that
about that.
already got yanked, right? Like that already got.
Did it?
I feel like I read another thing where they're like, oh, never mind. Sorry guys. Like
He looks like Frank Miller's The Spirit.
it looks like the spirit, but then like Hawkboy was. It looks like something from like a Skinamax movie. Like
My thing is that when Super Size Me came out, they got rid of all the McDonald Land characters except for Ronald. So
yeah.
this is the first we've seen of Hamburglar in 11 years, and we're making fun of it.
Well, it does look ridiculous.
I hope they come out with like a hot birdie.
It probably will. It's I, mean, I just it's so like I don't know. I feel like they're just grasping at straws.
Mika
What's
Kelly as birdie,
cool?
like you paint her yellow.
The thing about McDonald's marketing is that like I don't know when it used to be like I guess I was a kid so I loved it, but like I'm thinking about like some of their stuff that like they didn't try and be cool. They're just like this is what we're doing and it's cool.
That's
Like
what was
think
cool
about
back then.
think about well, like Mac Tonight like I love that shit.
They
They
still
should
use them in Singapore. Singapore's
should
happening, man.
they should bring back Mac Tonight. I would be more receptive to that than like
Just
anything.
pay George Clooney like $100 million to be the voice of Mac Tonight for 2 years.
That'd be amazing.
I was joking with Andrew Lindy
All they gotta
about.
do is just come up with some new songs. They could come up with like an alternate, like I don't know, like I could see him coming up, like just take some Frank Sinatra songs and
I came
like
up with two
I
new.
ordered it my way. Like I don't know.
I came up with two new McDonald's characters, sort of with Andrew Lindy. One of them was McRib, which is basically Seamus McFly, but as a McRib. He's an Irishman in the cowboy days. And then one of them, which is this is a proud moment. I came up with Archbishop Arch Deluxe. He's just like this really religious man, and he really wants you to eat these super serious burgers. These burgers without sin. Because remember, the Arch Deluxe was supposed to be for
Yeah,
adults.
not for kids, because
That was a
it's
weird.
refined taste. That was the weirdest thing they ever did, and it almost destroyed McDonald's.
Right. The thing about McDonald's is, and people, like, I kind of think of it as the worst in terms of, like, whenever I consider eating it, I'm like, ah, it's going to be bad for me. But, like, in a world where you eat that maybe once a month, that's fine, I think. But they don't want you to. They want you to eat there all the time.
which I know people that do eat there all the time.
Yeah. I don't know. I like marketing for junk food because I grew up with it. So I
Oh
can't. I
yeah.
have I have to be on the side of marketing these things to children. I'm sorry. And I don't even think you have to market junk to kids with crazy characters. It's just they like it already.
They like it already because they've been fed it their whole.
Yeah, people getting mad at Captain Crunch. So what?
Who's
I
getting
think
mad at
more
Captain Crunch?
because they want to take away Captain Crunch because it's a character. They want to take away characters basically on cereal.
I don't like that. That's getting crazy.
But I do have to say, probably more adults than ever are eating the kid cereals. Probably more than the actual kids because their parents won't let them.
Well, because when you look at like what's in cereal, there's nothing. It's like a bunch like unless you're eating like the boring cereals, it's all
Basic
sugar
core.
and corn syrup and
Right.
like that shouldn't be in a nutritious breakfast cereal. Like,
What cereal do you eat, Benson?
Well, I stopped eating cereal basically because I don't know what's happened to my body, but now if I eat a bowl of cereal, 5 minutes later I'm more hungry than I was before I ate it.
Oh,
So
you have a reverse osmosis where you only get hungrier now. That's bad.
yeah,
see,
it
that
used to,
happens to me with cereal and with like some like with certain fast foods. Like I can't. Eating them makes me more like eating Taco Bell makes me more hungry.
Oh.
yeah, it's only like that with cereal for me. So I don't really eat cereal anymore.
And you don't eat the sugary cereals, do you, Brendo?
Well, I don't eat breakfast really these days, so
Right.
I would. So I used to eat. I would get like because my favorite cereal probably right now is the Raisin Bran Crunch, but I would eat it like a snack. So like that's bad. I can't just be eating these cereals just all the time. So I don't even keep it in the house now because as soon as I have it, I eat it. Like when I got because I got I get the Count Chocula, like Blueberry, whatever I can get. But that stuff, it's like gone immediately. I'm just like, raw, more, eat all the cereal.
All right. That's a good note to
I
end
have,
on.
I
I'm
have,
thinking of
I have problems.
Brendo and Benson gorging on cereal. All right, let's do the plugs.
All right, go to popsiclespodcast.com and the episode of The Blaze that Derek and I are on, it's gonna be
Coming soon.
coming soon because they're doing four. Starting this week, they're doing four in between season episodes.
Hiatus episodes,
Yeah,
they call
hiatus
them.
episodes, and we're gonna be the fourth one. That's
The
how
last one.
that's how important.
Saving the best for last.
Yeah. But want to give huge thanks and props to Lizzie and Kat. You can check them out at the podcast. It's called The Blaze. If I think their Twitter is 90210 Blaze.
Yeah.
And they're awesome and really appreciate.
We
And then
went to
we
a
got to
weird event with them afterwards.
yeah, we went to a Randy Spelling book signing hosted by Tori Spelling. We saw Tori Spelling had a wardrobe malfunction. Um, we got to be there where they met Tori Spelling but I had a weird flashback when Tori Spelling's security guard yelled at me. So it's like,
There was a moment where Brendo was in between
Candy Spelling was telling me I couldn't go out the
Tori
back door.
Spelling's mom and security and me, and it was like the Hulk in the helicarrier, and I'm like, oh, I was Black Widow. I'm like, oh,
Hey, big guy. Hey.
I don't want to be in the middle of this. But you kept your cool. You were
Yeah.
fine. I want to make sure that's clear. You get points for being fine.
I was fine. It was cool. You took the Tori Spelling picture for him because I felt like my presence was agitating the security guard, and I really wanted them to
Well, they
have
had
their
to.
moment.
They had to kind of be a little pushy about it, and you didn't want to be a part of that,
Yeah.
which is fine. I respect that. But since I feel
Well,
like
I just felt like
feel
I would
so
be
disconnected,
detrimental to their cause.
I felt so disconnected to it that I felt like I was just another appendage for them, and that's why I decided to help them and
Yeah.
jump into it.
But it
Anyway.
was fine. It was good. And Book Soup was really. That seems like it's a cool bookstore, so I want to check it out again sometime.
When I left LA, I think it's a new terminal because
They have one in the airport. Yeah.
there's a Book Soup, a BOA, and the counter.
Oh, they got a counter in the airport now?
A
Wow.
very Los Angeles terminal.
It's a way to remind you, like, look at all this great stuff you're leaving. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed the
Anyway,
counter. We had one right across the street from us in Irvine. I guess that's probably for the best if that's not something I can just go walk to now.
go ahead, Benson.
But sorry, I didn't get to finish.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Go to so Popsicles Podcast at Popsicles Cast on Twitter, popsiclespodcast at gmail.com if you want to send us some mail, and or just go to our Tumblr, hit the Ask Us Anything button. That's again popsiclespodcast.com. And go Radio Brendo Man. We just recorded a new episode. Phil like puked on the show. That was
During
funny.
it?
Well, during the pre-show, and then we got the aftermath. But if you watch the
Oh,
video
man.
on YouTube, you can hear Phil throwing.
Oh my god, what episode number is this?
It's the newest one.
Why did he puke?
Because his brother told like a gross nursing story about an enema or something, and Phil has like the weakest stomach out of anybody I've ever met in my life. And
What hour of the pre-show was it? Hour 3?
Like right. Well, it was the pre-show's like maybe 30 minutes. And it's towards the end of the pre-show where basically the pre-show ends with Phil throwing up in my sink.
Oh, he's there?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right.
I got mad at him for throwing up on my clean spoons.
Oh my god.
So that's what happened on Radio Brendo Man this week. And
That's true to your original form of you guys talking about your feet and sweating and stuff. It's like the jackass of the Benview Network.
but yeah, speaking of Bedview Network, go to bedviewnetwork.com, and there's lots of good podcasts, including Benson. I'm sure we'll talk about the new Pick Your Path podcast, which I thought was really cool. And then I also listened to an episode of Benson's Boombox where if I had to ask Benson, I'm like, are you guys really just doing a live commentary to the Ghosts of Girlfriend's Past, but you're trying to get people to guess which movie it is?
Yeah.
And then, but it's just listening to a commentary without knowing what the movie is. It's ridiculous but fun. I enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Benson's pretty experimental. He's in this experimental period.
He's on the edge, cutting edge of podcasting there.
I want you to listen to that one that I listened to 2 seconds of, where he talks about the Toy Story tagline.
Well, I listened to that one too. It's
And I
really
immediately stopped it and did research about
You're
the Toy
really
Story
upset
tagline.
about the toys are back in town.
Stand by my point. It was technically accurate.
Anyway, go ahead, Benson.
Go to BenviewNetwork.com. Check out all the shows on there, including the new show, Pick Your Path, which we're very excited about. It's a Choose Your Own Adventure podcast. It is an actual scripted story. It's an enhanced podcast, so it has chapters like an audiobook. So
Is
you
there
can-
farting in it?
Do you have to listen to it on like an iPod or something to be able to use that?
Well, Apple devices, you can use them on just the basic podcast app. If you have an Android device, get the VLC player app. That one supports enhanced podcasts.
So I have to download a special app just to listen to your podcast.
If
That's
you're an
fine.
Android,
It's the Sega CD of podcasts.
that's right. If you're an Android user, you do. If you're an Apple user, you'll pretty much any podcast app will do you fine.
But Brendo doesn't have those. How did you listen to the first one?
I listened to it on I just did it on iTunes because I was just
Yeah,
like,
and in iTunes.
on my computer. 'Cause I
Okay.
couldn't get it to work on like I was listening on Stitcher. I'm like, wait, this isn't gonna work.
So you flip chapters?
Not Stitcher. I was listening to it on whatever on my phone, and it wasn't working. So
Yeah, if you get the VLC app on an Android phone, that will support chapters.
So you
VLC
flip
app?
chapters? I
Yeah,
don't
it'll
understand.
just you choose your own adventure book. It'll say if you want to make this
Yeah.
choice, skip to chapter.
skip to this
52.
chapter,
Okay.
Skip to chapter.
and it
53.
totally works.
How
It
long?
totally works.
How long does that work? How long is it?
I'm not. Each individual path is usually around. Could be anywhere from 10 to 40 minutes, I would say, for the individual paths.
And it's interchangeable. That it's not like you've done your research on Choose Your Own Adventure books.
I don't understand what you're asking.
In terms of like, how many paths are there? Do you think?
I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. I know there are 127 chapters. Excuse me.
But I'm not going to go
120
from a pizza parlor to a barbershop. Like it's all cohesive and
It all makes sense. Yeah.
okay. All
Everything
right.
connects. And you can find that at BenviewNetwork.com/PYP, or just go to BenviewNetwork.com and click on the big Pick Your Path logo you'll see in the front. We've got amazing artwork from Wayne Jansen, who
PYP.
Cryptozoic Man, excuse me. So yeah, check out that. It's on BenviewNetwork.com/PYP. Very exciting new show. Check it out. You can follow me on Twitter at Dr. Matt Benson. That's Dr. Matt Benson. And I
I
think
haven't
that's it.
seen a lot of Benson tweets lately.
I feel like I tweeted about the weird greeting cards at the car wash I was in yesterday.
Well, I guess they're just forgettable. Pow! That was my one Benson slam of the day.
Yeah,
Unless I did others. I probably did.
you probably did.
I do hate those weird, like, Spencer's novelty cards that have, like, either old people naked or, like, hot people naked.
Somebody gave me one of those, and like it was very inappropriate at the time because like my whole family was there, and I was just like,
That
they
sucks.
mostly fell into categories.
All right, anyway, you can catch me on Twitter at Derek Armijo and at Picture Start with Derek Armijo at blogspot.com.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough for now. Next time we'll be back in LA. Soon I want to try to do a Radio Brendo Man with Phil and Brendo live
Yeah, you got to come to Ukaipa. When's that happening?
when I
Went to
come back.
Michigan before you went to Ukaipa.
I'm certainly not going to use any of your spoons or your sink when I get there.
I washed everything.
Still. Maybe I'll get you new silverware. That'll be my gift to you.
I've washed it. It's fine.
I don't know about barf though. I'm just thinking, like, what are the
It
what are
washes.
the repercussions?
I washed it in super hot water with soap. I mean, what else do you do?
You should have made him do that.
Well, he rinsed it off, and then I'm like, well, I gotta wash these again.
Well, how much was it? Like a little bit or a lot?
It was like mucus. It wasn't even like puke.
Phil's got to get it together, man.
Phil, he does have to get it together. If you read Josh's response to it on the Radio Brendo Man Facebook page, he basically calls Phil a giant pussy. It's pretty funny.
Even I don't puke that easy.
I did get mad at Benson when Brenda was telling me that he drove to Northern California all without a GPS. And I was like, well, why didn't you make Benson do that? And he was like, well, Benson can't look at the phone in the car. I'm like,
See, I understand that because if I look at a book or a phone, because I'll get sick if I do that.
I was just thinking of you guys as pirates.
And
like that you can't look at a compass.
Benson has thrown up in a car. I personally know that happened.
Really?
Yeah.
Or that you were there for?
He threw up in our friend Brian's car on the way to Comic-Con, or was it on the way home from Comic-Con?
On the way home, and that was multiple times.
I don't abide by that. Everybody's got to keep their constitutions at bay.
Listen to you. You're acting like he can control it. Like you sound like a crazy person. Like it's all in your head, man.
I don't know. I have an iron stomach. There was a year where I was barfing all the time because of the medicine I was on, and even now I don't have sympathy. That sounds very cold of me. Even smells were making me barf.
Yeah, see, smells don't. It's only motion sickness that does it for me.
Yeah,
Everything
it's an
else.
actual thing. Like you're being unreasonable.
I gotta search within myself of why I'm being so unreasonable about that. What insecurity do I have that is bringing about this anger, this hatred of barfing friends? I don't know. We'll explore that next time. Popsicles 82. I've been Derek Armijo.
Brendan Creasy.
Matt Benson.
And why don't one of you come up with an end tag?
Why? It's your thing.
I don't know. It's so hard. I just feel
Say
like
the same thing, like I do.
I don't remember what the thing was.
You keep changing it, and you're just making a big deal out of nothing, man.
Sayonara. What's it like an 80s thing? Like what does Long Duck Dong say?
Not anything I'd be comfortable.
I don't care. I still love Long Duck Dong, and I never will stop.
I love Long Duck Dog, but in the context of
what's happening, hot stuff. That'll be our end tag. Good night, everybody. All right, I'm stopping.
We're out.
I don't like that backlash. People are angry at Long Duck Dong now. Come on.
They're not angry at it, but because he even talks about like, I mean, because I've read a whole thing where I'm like, well, if he's not upset about it, then I shouldn't be upset about it. And his whole thing was like, I was just glad to have a job. And like when you think about, like especially at that time, it was kind of crazy that, I mean, yeah. So I don't know. I think it's fine.
I miss racist things. All right. I'm going to start sending this to you.
Finally got
This
to Jess on Gilmore Guys, by the way. Very
What?
exciting.
What's that?
I finally got to the introduction of Jess on Gilmore Girls.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
man.
Yeah. Karina was watching that show for the first time, too. She just started season 7. And I was like, we should all do a podcast because 2 people are watching it for the first time and 2 people aren't. But the cat on 90210 kind of told us there was already a bunch of Gilmore Girls podcasts.
Yeah,
There are a bunch of, especially since Netflix.
Yeah, we should have struck one there and was out on that one.
Yeah.
She was going way faster than you. I feel like she started it last week.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm only on season 2.
She's one of those damn millennials. Nothing to do.
Benson's a millennial, too.
I got things to do, though.
Do you?
Pick Your Path doesn't edit itself.
Well,
You know how much editing that thing takes?
well, that's true. Gotta hand it to him.
Huh?
Creative endeavors and such. All right, well, when I get back, I will schedule the next popsicles and talk to Brendo about doing a Radio Brendo Man.
All right.
All right, I gotta watch Phil puking, even though I'm horrified.
Well, it's not on video because again, my camera's not working.
But you can hear him heaving.
You can hear him doing it.
Are you guys making fun of him at least as he's
Yes,
doing it?
the whole
Okay.
time.
Okay, that's fine. Because if you guys are, because I feel that when you vomit, it's a very vulnerable place you're at.
Well,
And
he
if-
wasn't. He was like dry heaving, and then he actually threw up a little, but that wasn't
Right.
until he got to the sink, and we were just laughing at like, we're like, is this really happening? Because Phil, I mean, the story. I've heard way worse stories from Matthew. I mean, it's pretty disgusting. He talks about having to give this lady an enema and like taking out 8 pounds of shit out of her, and it's nasty. But like that wouldn't make. I don't understand how Phil's all of a sudden just like, ugh.
I had to be in the room as a 92-year-old woman got an enema several times when my mom was in the hospital.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get it. Oh my God, I'm thinking about it right now. But in terms of throwing up, I feel that you're in your vulnerable state, and that all people around you shouldn't be grossed out, but be helping you. But if it's Phil
But
barfing
Phil's
at a
like
story,
making a scene.
yeah, if you're making a scene, then it's fine to make fun of him. Or if Benson was barfing in the car, I would probably make fun of him too.
Terrible.
But if you like ate something bad, that's a different story. I don't know. This is me. I'm just discovering these things about me.
All right. Well, I
All
gotta
right.
go, so I'll talk
All
to
right.
you guys later.
Cool. Thanks for
See ya.
doing it early, guys.
No problem.
No problem.
All right, later.